think today is a day that is now absolutely sinking in. Met the staff this morning and informed them of the sale. They were all very good about it, shook hands afterwards and said they were very pleased for me. Sure, I mean, a lot of things are going through my mind at the moment, you know, things like, do I want to sell Cambridge Stud? Well, the clear answer is no, I don't want to sell Cambridge Stud. You know, you have sold it, so have you done the right thing? And the answer to that is I know I've definitely done the right thing due to the fact that I've had, over the last 2 years, many offers from a lot of inquiries from overseas to buy the farm, as I call it, and they didn't quite fit as far as I was concerned, where the Cambridge Stud name was concerned and also the horses and what have you. I just felt, you know, the management and taking the brand name Cambridge Stud on into the future needed to be, you know, absolutely perfect as far as I was concerned. And out of the blue came along the Lindsays, all New Zealanders, and I mean, it ended up just a perfect fit, and I may not have got that opportunity over the next 3 or 4 years. And I ended up, they've got what they wanted, and I've got what I wanted, and it's ticked all the boxes for both, not only me, but for the Lindsay. So I've made the right decision, yeah.
How important was it that it stayed in New Zealand ownership?
Well, I think it was very important, but again, when I did consider all the overseas offers, I knew that it was probably, I felt unlikely that Cambridge Stud, you know, its brand name, the bloodstock, the farm itself, probably, possibly would never end up in 100% New Zealand hands. I had a couple of developers, yes, would have bought it and held on to it, as I said, for the future rezoning if it happened, and that certainly didn't fit at all. So everything had to come out right, and I think the Lindsay summed it up when they said, you know, it's an icon property, it should never be lost to New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, just tell us about, he's bought the name, he's bought the property, and what about the bloodstock?
Yeah, well, without going into too much detail, it has been a going concern, walk in, walk out, but it ended up in consultation, certain conditions. I've been fortunate in that I've been able to retain the 016 draft of horses that will all go forward to the yearling sales. So Justine and I own those, and we'll have our full last yearling sale at Karaka under Cambridge Stud, Justine and I. I was able to keep all the racing stock, and again that avoided any difficulties of preemptive rights with partners and what have you, so I've retained that. So racing stock and yearling sales and brood mares that I own in partnership as well have stayed outside the deal. So I've still got plenty to deal with.
So Tristram, Zabeel, 8 Carat, there's been some great horses come off this property. What's the standout moment over your years in Cambridge Stud?
Probably personally, I mean, you can talk about all the achievements with the horses and all the success you've had with them, including the stallions and the brood mares and the yearlings and what have you that you breed that become great racehorses. But I think certainly personally, the greatest thing the one would have to say is that, you know, that the itinerary was set for the Queen's visit to New Zealand by the Internal Affairs, which that's what they do. And I think it was a huge honour that she got back to them and said, no, you're cutting out the Sunday visit because I'm going to Cambridge Stud, yeah. And I'd like you to ask if they'd be happy to host me for lunch that day. So it was frightening at the time when we got the word, but that has to be a great achievement to be honoured by her to visit the stud. I think another one is I've always loved marketing, promoting, and the sales have always been my Hollywood. You know, and especially when I led Yearlings, I believed I was on that Hollywood stage, and I put on what I believed was a great performance. And even though I was perhaps not leading Yearlings at this particular time, but again to put a reserve of something like 1.4 million on a Yearling, and to see him make 3.6 million, that was huge, and all the big guns were on him. And again, that was Hollywood, that was pure theatre as it's been described. And the greatest personal achievement that I've ever been able to manage or be smart enough was selecting the right partner, marrying her, and that would certainly go ahead of the other two. And I mean that because at 21, we both worked hard on Fincourt stud, foaling mares and dealing with the bloodstock that my father owned, and came on 41 years here at Cambridge Stud, developed it and worked hard, and certainly we both worked equally hard. And the great thing about Justine was the fact she said, you know, you make all the decisions, no matter what, I'll support you, and to succeed, you're going to have your own wings to fly, and I'll be right there, and whether you make a mistake or you don't, I'm behind you and support you. And that could have happened. I could have made some mistakes with some of the decisions, and but she gave me the confidence, and without her, I don't believe anybody can do anything on their own. Perhaps they can, but I don't believe they can. You'd always need somebody backing you up, somebody that's right beside you. And certainly that was, without any doubt, the greatest achievement that I was able to carry off in meeting her outside the English Church Corner when I was about 16.
So Patrick, congratulations for your legacy that you've created here at Cambridge Stud, and also the sale.
Oh yeah, certainly we're proud of it, and we're not going anywhere, and it's nice that we know the Lindsays personally, and we know that they'll put their passion into the stud like both Justin and I have done.